argument within the Muslim community, an internal debate, to think that how could we accuse the sins of the Muslims for the oppression of the oppressors. No, we are not blaming the sins of the Muslims for the oppression of the oppressors. The oppression of the oppressors, it is about to collapse. I remind you, it is a simple analysis. When you see the tyrants reaching their peak of oppression, it is a sign of their weakness and a sign of their collapse about to happen. Have we not witnessed the collapse of Pharaoh's empire? Have we not seen that when Pharaoh came to know that the Musa will be born who will destroy his empire, what did he do? Apart from the regular oppression he was committing on Bani Israel, he decided to now kill the newborn babies in the search of killing a Musa. And subhanallah al-azim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned it such that a Musa was born and nurtured in his home, who became the reason of the destruction of an empire of hundreds of years. And how did he come to an end? What was the end of Pharaoh? It was one of the most dumbest and the most foolish ends of any person on earth. Imagine a ruler of hundreds of years, an empire of hundreds of years, with an army whose match Bani Israel is not even ready to fight. Even their dua is so self-defeating. Their dua is, Ya Allah, send somebody to save us. They're not making dua, Ya Allah, strengthen us to fight. They are not ready. They do not imagine that they can oppose or fight the army of Pharaoh. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Musa alayhi salam. And we know the whole story. Long story cut short. We know how Pharaoh ended up dying in between the ocean, in between the two seas, or in the river Nile, where he followed the miracle of Musa alayhi salam, where he walked through it. Imagine a ruler with all might and intelligence walks into the middle of the sea with his entire army. Who does that? Unless you have been veiled with intelligence completely to be destroyed, because when Allah decides to change the power, it will happen just quickly, even before we could imagine. So we know that tyranny, such as the tyranny of Pharaoh, it has collapsed. We know the coalition of Abu Jahl has collapsed. We know the empire of Hitler has collapsed. So shall the empire, the regime, the strength, the power of Bashar al-Assad, Bashar al-Kalb will come to an end. The victory is imminent. The victory shall come soon, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises in the Quran. And he says, and he describes in Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah number 2, ayah number 214, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَقُولَ الرَّسُولُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ مَتَى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that a similar affliction, a similar calamity, a similar trial was on the Prophet and his companions. And Allah says, so the messenger and the companions with him shouted, Mata Nasrullah, when will the help of Allah come for us? The Mufassirin, they write that at that moment it was as if that their hearts have reached their throats, and they were calling, they were requesting, they were pleading to Allah, Ya Allah, when will your help come to us? And Allah says to them and promises, Ala inna Nasrallahi qareeb. Verily, the help of Allah is about to reach you, is soon going to be reaching you. So my question, that some people are concerned that how could we blame the entire massacre only on the sins of the Muslim community? No, to have a self-retrospection for ourselves is not taking away the blame from the oppressors. Rather, the oppressors and the tyranny of theirs is about to end, and the victory is about to come soon, as promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can be assured that what is happening in Syria, in Burma, and in other places in the world, especially in Aleppo today, is only a sign of a victory that is about to come. So we say glad tidings to the people, to the individuals, to the families, to the men, women, and children of Aleppo, of the state of Syria, of the country of Syria. Their sacrifices, their lives, their troubles, their trials, their trauma that they have gone through is not going to go in vain. Rather, on top of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to return victory, not just to the Aleppo residents, not just to the people of Syria, but to this ummah very soon. But a question rises. Why is this happening? As I said, one aspect is, as an ummah, when we are disobedient to the commands of Allah and His Messenger, it is a sign, as we saw in Surah Isra, that the trouble will be on us, where we will be bestowed, or we will be placed with oppressive rulers on us. On the other hand, it could also be a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Isa alayhi salam was not a sinner. For Musa alayhi salam was not a sinner. For Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahaba ikram radiyallahu anhum ajma'in were not sinners for which Abu Jahl was placed on them. No. Abu Jahl was there as a trial for the Prophet and his companions. And when Allah's help was promised to them, look at the beauty, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, in Surah As-Saf, Surah number 61, ayah number 13, when the Prophet and the Sahaba were being killed and massacred in the city of Mecca, and they asked Allah to help them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them, Allah said, Nasrum min Allahi wa fathun qareeb. Verily, the help of Allah, the victory is going to be coming soon. Now, as an ideal Muslim, we need to be optimist. We need to have hope in the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot have hope further in humanity anymore, because the entire system, as I said, has failed with utter ruin in itself. There is nobody who is able to challenge or stop the status quo or stop the destruction or devastation that is taking place. Though every power, every ruler, every country, every parliament is well aware as to the amount of genocide that is taking place there.